Welcome to Money Geeks TV, where financial wisdom lives in stories. I'm your narrator, Abdullah. Today's tale takes us back to the golden age of trade, to the great port city of Basra, where caravans met ships, where gold met silk, and where men built fortunes not on interest or speculation, but on trust, skill, and shared success. This is the story of the Merchant of Basra and the Silent Partner, a story that reveals how wealth grows when honesty and effort meet together. Let us begin. In the heart of Basra's market, the air was thick with the scent of cardamom and cinnamon. Merchants shouted prices, children ran between stalls, and camels groaned under the weight of goods from distant lands. Among them was a young man named Tariq ibn Said. His stall was small, just a wooden counter and a few baskets of spices, but his eyes held ambition far larger than his stall. Every morning, before the sun rose, Tariq would sweep his little space, arrange his goods, and whisper Bismillah before the first customer arrived. He knew his trade well. He could tell the difference between Indian saffron and Persian saffron just by scent. But knowledge alone was not enough to grow wealth. He needed capital. And that, my friends, is where many young dreamers fall short. That evening, as the market quieted, Tariq counted his earnings under the golden glow of a lantern. His friend, Hamid, a fellow merchant, laughed and said, "Tariq, why dream of ships when your stall barely feeds you?" Tariq replied softly, "Because every spice here came from a ship. Somewhere, someone took the risk and earned the reward. Why not me?" But Hamid shook his head. "You need gold for ships. You need status. You need backing." Tariq smiled. "Or maybe I just need someone who believes." That night, he prayed. He prayed not for gold, but for opportunity. The next morning, as he arranged his goods, an older man stopped at his stall. His beard was white, his robe simple, but his presence carried weight. It was Abu Hassan, a respected merchant known across Basra. Once he had commanded 3 ships that sailed to India, Zanzibar, and beyond. But age had slowed him. His ships were now run by hired captains, his days spent listening to the sounds of trade from a shaded veranda. Abu Hassan watched Tariq with interest, how he spoke gently to customers, how he measured honestly, never shortchanging anyone. He bought a small pouch of saffron and said, "Young man, I've seen many traders. Few count their coins with gratitude like you do." Tariq smiled. "Sir, honesty keeps the blessing in trade. Without it, profit is empty." Abu Hassan nodded slowly. "Tell me, Tariq, if you had a ship, where would you sail?" Tariq's eyes brightened. "To India, sir. I've heard the harvest this year is rich. Saffron, cloves, and pepper, all selling for triple in Basra." Abu Hassan leaned on his cane. "And if you had the means, would you take the journey yourself?" "Without hesitation," Tariq said. "I know the route, I've studied the ports, and I trust my skill." Abu Hassan smiled faintly. "Perhaps your time has come." Later that evening, Abu Hassan invited Tariq to his home. It wasn't a palace, but it spoke of discipline and blessing. Scrolls of trade routes lined the walls. Maps of the Indian Ocean hung like art. Over dates and tea, Abu Hassan said, "I have ships that rest idle. I have gold that sleeps in chests. You have knowledge and drive. Let us join hands." Tariq hesitated. "Sir, I cannot risk your wealth. I own nothing but my labor." Abu Hassan chuckled. "Then we follow the Sharia way." He explained a partnership, Mudarabah, a profit-sharing arrangement known since the Prophet's time. I will provide the capital. You provide effort, skill, and management. 70% of the capital is mine. 30% is your expertise. When we profit, we split 50-50. If there is loss, I bear it. You lose only your time. Tariq's eyes widened. That is fair, merciful even. It is lawful, said Abu Hassan. No interest, no debt, only shared risk and shared reward. They shook hands beneath the date palms. And so a new venture was born, not of greed, but of trust. At dawn, the Zahra set sail. The sea was calm, the horizon endless. Tariq stood at the helm reciting dua for travel. The crew, mostly young men from Basra, followed his confident lead. Weeks passed, storms tested them, pirates threatened, and illness struck 2 sailors. But Tariq's leadership shone. He was fair, never harsh, and when rations ran low, he ate the same as his men. When they reached Calicut, India, he negotiated with spice traders, sleeping little and working tirelessly. He learned to balance firmness with respect. When one trader tried to deceive him with mixed saffron, Tariq smiled and said, "May your deceit stay with your goods. I'll buy from the honest man next door." By the end of 2 months, the ship's hold was filled with saffron, cloves, and pepper, the finest of the season. 4 months later, the Zahra returned to Basra. The market erupted. Rare spices had arrived. Prices soared. Abu Hassan welcomed Tariq home with tears of joy. When the goods were sold, the profits tripled the capital. Abu Hassan handed Tariq a heavy pouch of gold. "Your share, as agreed." Tariq was speechless. It was more than he had earned in 2 years of stall work. He looked up and said, "Sir, you changed my life." Abu Hassan replied, "No, son, you changed your own, through honesty, skill, and trust." With his earnings, Tariq rented a small warehouse. The next year, he led 2 voyages. He employed 3 apprentices, young men who, like him, needed a chance. By the 5th year, Tariq owned his own ship. And yet, he never forgot the agreement that changed his life. Abu Hassan never sailed again, but his wealth grew silently through those he funded. He became known as the silent partner, the man whose gold worked with others' skill. And Tariq became the merchant of Basra, known not for his riches, but for his fairness. Years later, when a student asked Tariq, "Master, how does one grow rich without injustice?" He replied, "By sharing profit, not demanding interest, by trusting skill, not exploiting need, by believing that wealth is a test, not a trophy." He paused and smiled. "The silent partner taught me that money grows best when watered with trust." And so the story ends, but its wisdom remains. Thank you for listening to Money Geeks TV. Subscribe for a new story every week. Stories where faith meets finance and wisdom meets wealth. Share this tale with someone ready to grow, someone who, like Tariq, just needs a silent partner to believe in them. Until next time, may your skill find its silent partner and your wealth find its blessing.